Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fletcher. Today I'm gonna learn Ruby on Codecademy. I've never learned Ruby before, so I just thought it might be cool to record myself doing it, and you guys can learn along with me. So I'm already logged into my Codecademy account, and I'll start the course. Okay, so Introduction to Ruby. Data types, numbers, strings, booleans. In Ruby, your information or data can come in different types. There are 3 data types in Ruby that we're interested in right now. Numbers, booleans, which can be true or false, and strings, words or phrases like, I'm learning Ruby. Computer programs exist to quickly analyze and manipulate data. For that reason, it's important for us to understand the different data types that we can use in our programs. Remember, never use quotation marks with booleans, or Ruby will think you're talking about a string or a word or a phrase instead of a value that can be true or false. It's also important to remember that Ruby is case sensitive. It cares about capitalization. Cool, pretty straightforward. Set the following variables to the corresponding values. Okay, so I have my num up here. I'm guessing we could do that. My boolean to true, and my string to Ruby. I'm just curious if Ruby cares about double quotes or single quotes or not. Let's see. Cool. It does not. So in some other languages, these matter. JavaScript, it doesn't. Say like PHP, for example, the difference between like double quotes and single quotes is that single quotes you can't just type variables within the quotes, and in PHP this will actually print exactly this. So if I run this, PHP will do that. Whereas if you did double quotes in PHP, you could do something like, say like my boolean. Let's see if this works in Ruby. I'm not sure. No, Ruby doesn't care about string interpolation like that. There's probably other ways to do it. Okay. In Codecademy, you can hit Control Enter or Command Enter, and it'll just run the program for you, so you don't have to click run every time. So I passed that. Let's go next. Variables. One of the most basic concepts in computer programming is the variable. You can think of a variable as a word or name that grasps a single value. For example, let's say you needed the number 25 from our last example, but you're not going to use it right away. You can set a variable, say my num, to grasp the value 25 and hang on to it for later use, like this. Declaring variables in Ruby is easy. You just write out a name like my num, use the equal sign to assign it to a value, and you're done. If you need to change a variable, no sweat, just type it again, hit equals to assign it a new value. Cool. So if anybody's watching this and you're not already a programmer, this is pretty standard for like most common programming languages. If you want to assign a value to a variable, you have some programming language will have some sort of like puts or var or let, some sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Reserved word that has to be here to say that you're declaring a variable, and then this can be whatever you want, equals, and then some value. So in this case, 100. And this doesn't mean my num is equal to 100. It means take 100 and assign it to my num. Codecademy will probably cover that later. So let's run, and I pass. Cool. Math. Ruby isn't limited to simple expressions of assignment like my num equals 100. It can also do all the math you learn about in school. There are 6 arithmetic There are 6 arithmetic operators. We're going to focus on addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation, and modulo. The only ones... this looks kind of cool. Interesting. The only ones that probably look weird to you are exponentiation. Oh, excuse me. Exponentiation and modulo. Exponentiation raises one number, the base, to the power of the other, the exponent. For example, 2 star star 3 is 8, since 2 star star 3 means give me 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 2 multiplied together 3 times. 3 star star 2 is 9, which is 3 times 3, and so on. Modulo returns the remainder of division. For example, 25 modulus 7 would be 4, since 7 goes into 25 3 times with 4 left over. Do a little math practice in the editor when you're ready and click next. Sounds like I can pass this without doing anything, but let's maybe play around a bit. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of interesting to me. The programming languages that I use day to day, is there like an echo in? How do I print this? Oh, just print. Okay. Yeah, the programming languages that I use, like JavaScript and PHP, don't give me this. I think Python has something similar. I don't remember. But yeah, the modulus operator, if you're not familiar with it, is really handy for doing things like figuring out if a number is odd or even. So like 5 modulus 2, you're gonna have a remainder, right? So if it's not equal to 0, that means the number is odd. So this should print oh, hang on, true. Because 5 modulus 2 actually equals 1, and any odd number, say 91 modulus 2, this will also give me true. But if I were to say 90, it will say false. Kind of cool. Moving on. Okay, so puts and print. The print command just takes whatever you give it and prints it to the screen. Puts, for short for put string, is slightly different. It adds a new blank line after the thing you want it to print. Oh, that's right. In the first lesson, puts wasn't assigning a variable for me. It was printing to the screen. So it adds a new blank line after the thing you want to print. You use them like this. Okay, so in the editor, use at least one print statement and at least one put statement. You can print out any strings you like. Make sure you put your strings between quotes like this. Hello. Put something super awesome. And print something else pretty awesome. And then I already discovered that you can call print like a function with parentheses. Hey, oh. Let's see, undefined method. Puts. Cool. So, puts is basically always doing like a new line at the end for you. Print is not. So I should, with any luck, be able to add a new line myself with print. And these guys should be on separate lines. Let's see. Heyo! Awesome. Everything in Ruby is an object. Because everything in Ruby is an object, more on this later, everything in Ruby has certain built-in abilities called methods. You can think of methods as skills that certain objects have. For instance, strings, words, or phrases have built-in methods that can tell you the length of a string, reverse the string, and more. We also promise to tell you more about the interpreter. I don't remember them promising me that. Maybe I read that earlier. The interpreter is the program that takes the code you write and runs it. You type code in the editor, the interpreter reads your code, and it shows you the result of running your code in the console. Instructions. Enough small talk, click next to start learning about string methods. Cool. The dot length method. Methods are summoned. Methods are summoned using a dot. If you have a string, I love espresso, and take the dot length of it, Ruby will return the length of the string. That is the number of characters, letters, numbers, spaces, and symbols. Check it out. String literal, they call this, I guess. And then dot length will print 15. That little line starting with the hash or pound symbol isn't part of what you need to write. It just shows you the output Ruby will provide. More on this in the next section. Taking the length of input can be useful if, for example, you want to make a website that takes credit card payments. Ruby can check to make sure the credit card number appears to be valid. Call the dot length method on your name. Remember to use quotes around your name. Puts the answer to the console if you want to see the value. Cool. So my name dot length. This is similar to what you can do in JavaScript. Okay, and we'll do puts. Control enter to run it. I get 12. The reverse method. The reverse method is called the same way length is, but instead of asking Ruby to tell you how long a string is, it spits out a backwards version of the string you gave it. For instance, Eric.reverse will result in sire. Reversing input can be useful if you want to sort a list of values from highest to lowest instead of lowest to highest. We'll get to some sorting in later lessons. Okay, so call the reverse method on your name. Don't forget those quotation marks around your name to make it a string. Put it to the console. So puts Dan Fletcher dot reverse. What happens if I... Interesting. So in JavaScript, length is like a property that belongs to a string. Strings in JavaScript are treated like objects too. And then reverse, though, is like a method that you call. So in JavaScript, I don't believe you can do that. Let me double check so I'm not bullshitting you. I don't remember how to open the inspector. Oh, Control-Shift-I. I've been using Mac a lot lately. Okay, so let's go to the console. I'll do my name dot length in JavaScript, right? And then so this shouldn't work because reverse is undefined because it's not a property on the string. Uncaught type error. Oh, maybe I just absolutely don't know what I'm talking about. Is reverse only on arrays in JavaScript, maybe? Forgot my dot. That or you can't do this on string literals? I'm super confused right now. Hang on. Okay, so let my name. If you do this, technically actually is already a variable in the global namespace in JavaScript. My name equals my name. Okay. So we have a string, which we can get a length of. We can, I swear to God, you can do this in JavaScript. Why was I calling join? Split dot reverse dot join. Right. Okay. Forget everything I said. You can't do that in JavaScript. So what I did here, I took my name, which is a string. I called split on it, which turned it into an array. So if let me just output this so you can see what it looks like, right? An array of characters, and then I reversed that array. So that's my name backwards, and then I called join on it, which just turns it back into a string for me. So sorry about that, my bad. Okay, yeah. So anyway, the point that I was making is, I'm wondering if this probably isn't. Ruby must be doing a bit of magic here. I'm not sure. We'll see how methods work in Ruby later, I guess. Okay, upcase and downcase. Let's try one more method, or two methods, as you might have guessed. The upcase and downcase methods convert a string to all uppercase or all lowercase, respectively. Okay, so let's put my name to upcase. On the next line, puts your name to downcase. All right, new achievement. Next, single line comments. You probably saw us use the pound sign a few times in earlier exercises. This sign is for comments in Ruby. A comment is a bit of text that Ruby won't try to run as code. It's just for humans to read. Writing good comments not only clarifies your code for other people who may read it, but helps remind you of what you were doing when you wrote the code days, months, or even years earlier. Arguably, sure. The pound sign should come before your comment and affects anything you write after it, so long as you're on a single line. We'll show you how to do multi-line comments in a second. Check out these examples. Cool. I'm a full line comment, and I'm a comment too. So what they're saying here is this code won't get executed. This little bit of code will. And then because we have the pound sign here, everything to the right on this line does not get executed or interpreted. The second example will return 4, since the comment comes after the Ruby will execute. After the code that Ruby will execute. Cool. So instructions, write a comment in the editor. It can be anything you like. Anything you like. Cool. Next, multi-line comments. You can write a comment that spans multiple lines by starting each line with a pound symbol, but there's an easier way if you start with equal begin and end with equal end. Everything between those two expressions will be a comment. Take a look at this example. It's kind of ugly to me. Don't put any space between the equal sign and the words begin or end. You can do that with math. 2 plus 5 is the same as 2 plus 5, but in this case Ruby will get confused. Equal begin and equal end also need to be on lines all by themselves, just as shown above. Okay. I'm not going to type all this out. Okay, so I'm guessing if I run this, it will pass. If I put a space here, you can kind of already see it screws things up. The syntax highlighting's all out of whack. And it fails. We get a syntax error. And if I start typing stuff on this line, everything also barfs. Or not. I don't know. It seems to mess up with the syntax highlighting, so I don't know. Me. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to work. Albeit the syntax highlighting isn't as nice. Although now it looks like shit anyway. Oh, probably because there's a space after. Okay, so you can't even have white space characters other than a new line. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to maybe Google. Maybe that's just a convention thing. I don't know. Next. Naming conventions. There are many different kinds of variables you'll encounter as you progress through these courses, but right now we're just concerned with regular old local variables. By convention, these variables should start with a lowercase letter and words should be separated by underscores, like counter and masterful method. Ruby won't stop you from starting your local variables with other symbols such as capital letters, dollar signs, ats, but by convention these mean different things, so it's best to avoid confusion by doing what the Ruby community does. Create a variable name in the editor and set it equal to your name as a string between quotes like this. Your string can be capitalized, but name should be all lowercase. Cool, so name equals Dan. I think, is that all they wanted? Yeah. Next. Variables and data types. Let's quickly review how to declare and set variables. Remember, you declare a variable just by saying its name, and you set it using the equal sign. You can always check the hint below if you need more help. Okay, create a variable called my name and set it equal to your name as a string. Create a second variable called my age, set it equal to your age. Don't use quotes around this number 27. Try it on. Math. Good. Now let's do a little math. In the editor, set the variable sum equal to 13 plus, I don't have my numpad with me, this is a little awkward, 379, product equal to 923 times 15, and the quotient equal to what? 13,209 divided by 17. Print each variable to the console using puts if you want to see the results. Sure. Puts sum, puts product, puts quotient. Enter. What did I do here? Puts pust. Yuck, nobody wants pust. Okay, so yeah, looks good. Next, strings and string methods. Well done. Let's do a little review of string methods. Remember, you call a method by using the dot operator like this. Here's a string, dot method. Declare a variable name and set it equal to a string containing your name. Name equals containing my name. Should probably spell some of these words correctly. Okay, so your name call downcase on your name to make it all lowercase. Maybe I should uppercase a few of these letters just to see this work. Call dot reverse on your lowercase name to make it backwards. Then call upcase on your backwards name to make it all caps. In Ruby, you can do this two ways. Each method call on a separate line, or you can chain them together. Okay, cool. So puts, name. Right on. So what they're saying is we can actually multi-line this method chaining, they call it. Let's see. Still works. I'm wondering if Ruby, oh, it does not care about indentation. That's cool. I actually sort of thought that it would, just because I haven't seen curly braces or anything yet. Okay, cool. Next. Comments. Great work. For our last review exercise for this lesson, let's go over single and multi-line comments. Okay, create a single line comment. Single line comment. Hit run to see your glorious comments and complete the introduction to Ruby. Run that. What? Oh, and a multi-line comment. Begin. This is multi-line commentos. Like comments equals end. Run it. Awesome. Close. Up next. Okay, putting the form in formatter. Now that you know a little bit of Ruby, let's put together your first project. In this one, we'll write a small program that will format a user's input. Awesome. Let's start the lesson. Okay, I think I'm gonna call that episode 1. If you have any questions or whatever, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this is kind of cool. Just watching some dude learn a programming language. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.